The Mets, step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the Mets, Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats, where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the Mets, Mets of New York town, of New York town.
What is up, Mets and baseball fans? Thank you all so much to everyone chiming in. I appreciate you. We're back for another episode here at New York Mets Talk. It'll just be myself today. Richie is currently busy, and that's perfectly fine. So Richie will be back probably for our Monday segment, which should be back here on WardyNYM once again. So again, thank you all so much, everyone just chiming in. I really appreciate you guys. And if you are, of course, are new, we're going to be breaking down what has just happened in the series split between the Mets and the Cardinals, sharing my reaction and thoughts, and also breaking down all the statistics, all the good stuff that you guys should probably know about if you don't know. And then we will get into the preview of the series upcoming starting tonight in the 3-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So with that being said, thank you all so much again for being here, guys. Really does mean a lot. I see a lot of different names in here. Benjamin, Milty, Brian, Louis, thank you so much for the hype and for the likes. Yes, guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe on. Bobby, what is up, my man? Great member here on the channel. Benjamin, AB, we see also Julian, LSD, Dominic, my friend, great member here on the channel. Also, how are you today, buddy? Thanks so much for chiming in. And other Dominic as well, Dominic Bullock, thank you for the follow, my man. I appreciate that. Alex, hello. What's up? What's up? Again, everybody, thank you all so much for being here. We're in for a fun stream today. I'm excited for this one. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn on the lava lamp so you guys can witness it live, how we normally do this here. But yeah, my apologies for like the 5-minute delay, guys. Wasn't purposeful or anything. Just wanted to make sure that I had all my notes and all that good stuff set up so you know what to expect. But guys, plenty to discuss. So we're going to kind of just dive right in within the next minute or two. And then what I'll be doing as I'm breaking down these games 1 through 4 of this series. I'll also be looking at the chat, probably answering some questions in between. Eric, what is up, my man? Thank you so much for chiming in live from Tulsa. Okay, Elf Jam, awesome. Brian, thanks so much for being here. Ben, what is up, buddy? Ben C. Yoshima, heyo, what is up, my man? Thank you so much. Yeah, I wear this denim jacket usually for most things outside of in-game streams. So, yep, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. So we're going to get right in here. I'm really not going to way too long. We already got Leroy speaking nonsense. He's got to spell his name first, though. Nanoverse, what's good, my man? I will definitely probably reply to you. I checked out your email just over the past hour regarding the audio. So thank you, buddy. Great stuff. I enjoyed everything that I listened to. So again, with that being said, we're going to get right into this one, folks. So let's just start with what has transpired in the series between the Mets and the Cardinals. So as we know, the Mets ended up splitting this series, and thank God for that, because they did not start off too hot. So guys, if you're just chiming in, thank you all so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. But we're going to kind of get in, give a fairly deep discussion, games 1 through 4. I'll be giving my 3 players of the series, and then we will be getting on to the series upcoming against the Diamondbacks, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on that as well. So to start off, let's talk about here game 1, shall we? So game 1 was an interesting one for the Mets. This definitely was a tough pill to swallow. Coming off of the series win against the Phillies, they just were not able to get enough going. They lost by 1 run, as you guys probably know by now. It's going to be 6-5 was the actual final of this game. And the highlights in my mind were the following players. Jeff McNeil to start off this series. He had a so-so series for the Mets, but coming off of a 4-hit game in Philly, he was 1 for 3 on the day in game 1, and then also had 1 RBI and 2 walks. Then you get a Pete Alonso. As you guys probably know, Big Me Pete had a strong game. This was his best game of the series, was 3 for 4, including 1 walk, so that was solid. Then you had Kevin Pollard, and Kevin Pollard, I have a lot to talk about him throughout this stream. He went 2 for 4 on the day, including 2 RBIs. He was definitely clutch for the Mets in the series, with guys like Brandon Nimmo, most notably, being out now and on the 10-day IL. And then you also get Joey Lucchesi, who was the starting pitcher of this game. Did not fare well, unfortunately. In only 2.2 innings pitched, Joey gave up right around 6 runs, only had 1 strikeout. So Lucchesi has struggled to really be that kind of spot starter, that fifth starter that the Mets have wanted him to be. And it's going to be curious to see what happens with him going forward. I've been saying this all along. I think Joey Lucchesi is best fit for the bullpen, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I think Lucchesi is going to get one more start, and we'll go from there and see if he's going to be reevaluated or not. Dave, what's up, my man? Again, we're going to talk about the runners in scoring position, all that good stuff. Bambino, what is up, my friend? David, a great member here on the channel. How are you, my friend? Thanks so much for chiming in. Yeah, so in a nutshell, we still have plenty to talk about. But I want to say that Joey Lucchesi did have a bad outing. This is unfortunate. I don't have anything personal against Joey Lucchesi, but things were not going his way here. And then when you get on to the bullpen for that game, though, if you guys remember game 1, that was solid. Sean Reed Foley has definitely been impressing in my mind and has been very solid for the Mets thus far. He's been lights out. He pitched 2 innings in that game, gave up no runs. Robert Zellman pitched 2 innings as well, had a serviceable outing, gave up no runs as well. Jacob Barnes pitched at least 1 inning, gave up no runs. Perfect. So in total, the Mets lost the first game of this series of the 4-game set, and they ended up going 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position and left 9 players on base. Now, this is a narrative, something that has been going on with the Mets for a while, unfortunately, and it's not stopping anytime soon. It's very unfortunate. It frustrates me. It really does. Just knowing when you look at this team on paper, they have all the potential in the world to actually be, fairly competitive. Like easily could be pushing for the division this year, but they're not going to get there if they do not start scoring with runners in scoring position. And that has been a constant problem. Whether it is that or whether it is the same thing regarding just guys on base in general, even if they're not in scoring position, the Mets are dead last in the league in both those categories with getting those runners, not just in, but at least from first to third. It's been frustrating. It really has been. Jonathan says here, why the heck the Mets sent Foley to Syracuse? They did that because of just the timing, because he would not have pitched the next day. Sean Reed Foley will be back with the Mets very soon, I assure you. It's not a long-term thing whatsoever. It was just the circumstances of everything. But now getting on here, let's get a game 2, guys, because this is where the narrative kind of continues with the Mets. Things were continuing to not look good, but there are some positives to gather. So this was probably the Mets' worst game of the series in my mind, easily. Probably, yeah, I would still say that. Game 2, the first game of the doubleheader that we streamed here on the channel, it was abysmal. 4-1 loss to the Cardinals. They really, really outperformed the Mets in a lot of ways in that game. McCann was the most notable player, the only decent hitter for the Mets that game, and he didn't even record 1 single hit. He went for 0 for 3 on the day, but still had an RBI, which brought in the lone runner for the Mets in that game to actually get them to score. It was a joke. Marcus Stroman had a serviceable outing coming off of what was a short outing in Philly because of dealing with injuries, but Stroman had 5 innings pitched, so not deep in the game, but he did have a 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 4 runs overall, but only 2 were earned because Pete Alonso had a terrible error going right around first base. It was a weird, I remember the play like it was a second ago. It was trying to get a pick, a little hopper going to first, and it ended up being an error, and that costed the Mets quite a bit. It costed them a couple more runs. So in a nutshell, there isn't much to really say about Game 2. If you guys want to share any of your thoughts on Game 2, you surely can here in the chat, but it's frustrating. Game 1 was definitely not fun for the Mets. Pete Alonso with the error, and then in total, the Mets were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position in this game, and then they left 5 guys on base. So they had more guys left on base. So through the first 2 games of this series, the Mets went for a total of 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position and had themselves leaving 14 guys on base. So not a good look as they head into game 3. And game 3 is where things finally started to turn around for the Mets, and in a big way. The Wardy curse was over at that point for everyone saying that, oh, Tyler, you're the problem why the Mets keep losing while you're live streaming. I'm not. It was a bad streak, but it finally ended here in game 2 of the doubleheader. And again, thank you all so much to all my Mets and baseball fans chiming in. I appreciate you guys. We see Joe in here, Louie, Julian, Dave. What's up, my man? So again, I'll basically be answering all your questions one way or another as we get into this, as I'm finishing this recap and also previewing. And then, guys, we will be doing a live Q&A here towards the end of the stream for the last 15 minutes or so. I'll be having my stream link in the chat, as you guys probably know by now. And then you guys can chime in, share your thoughts, give a question or two, something along those lines, and we'll get right into it. So going into game 3, this was big for the Mets here. They were down 2-0 in the series already, trying to avoid losing the series. Ultimately, they didn't in the end, and it started with this game 3 off of a 7-2 victory. What a dominant performance without an actual starter for the most part. Miguel Castro opened up the game for the Mets, pitched a serviceable 1 inning to get out of there, and that was really the spot starter. Then you had Jordan Yamamoto, who made his New York Mets debut, had a solid debut, gave up 1 run and 2.2 innings pitched, but it was okay given the circumstances. And outside of that, you had Aaron Loup, who pitched just literally a quarter of an inning, just got 1 out. That's all he needed. He was fine. Trevor May continues to roll. He had himself a fine game, only 1 inning pitched. So far, so good. Trevor May has yet to give up a run since his first outing of the first game of the entirety of the MLB season. He has been absolutely lights out. Robert Zellman did give up 1 run in an inning, so that wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't detrimental to the Mets game here. And then Jeurys Familia ended up getting the save. And then when you get onto the hitters, what was the reasoning for success here in this game? Well, Johan Oviedo, was pitching coming off of the IL for the Cardinals. He did not have a great go of things. Dom Smith really ate him up quite a bit, was 2 for 4 on the day. Then you get on to Kevin Pollard, and Kevin Pollard is a guy that I'm really excited to talk about more in this stream when we get to the 3 stars. He was 2 for 4 on the day, including 2 RBIs. It was the OR game. It was Jonathan Villar and Kevin Pollard. Those were the guys that really stand out. Jonathan Villar went 2 for 4 as well with 2 RBIs. So back-to-back, VR, Pollard, they were making stuff happen. That is what you need from your bench in order to have success in today's MLB, and the Mets did just that. With having their third base replacement in Jonathan VR that game, and then also having their replacement in guys like Kevin Pollard, and the outfield with Brandon Nimmo currently being out on the IL as well. So when you have 2 of your hottest hitters out there, it is definitely crazy. And Ghostway, I'm glad you actually said that, because I will be announcing, guys, one more thing. As we get, I'm going to say once we probably wrap up the preview of the Diamondback series, I will announce the second winner of the giveaway. That is what I'll be doing, because the first winner did not respond to me back in time in the first 48 hours. So because of that, he unfortunately is now relinquished of winning it, and now we already have a second winner drawn. And it's fun because I already know that the second winner is in this stream as we speak. So guys, if you're in the stream, make sure you stay, because one of you guys is in fact going to be getting that custom tumbler. I'm really excited. And LSD here with a donation before we continue here with the recap of the St. Louis Cardinals series. What is up, buddy? Thank you so much for that. Hey, not to beg, but how I get a mod, I know some people just quit after getting a mod. That is me. LSD, you'll gladly get a mod, buddy. Again, we're only going to give out 1 mod today. And again, thank you so much for the donation, my man. I appreciate that. Guys, give a huge shout out to my man LSD. He's a Braves fan. He is a Braves fan, and yet is this kind, this generous. So first of all, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. And secondly, you will definitely be getting a mod. I'll actually do it right now as we're getting set. And then I just want to continue here regarding game 3. So in a nutshell, the Mets win game 3, 7-2, but they also give up in the process. They do unfortunately give up 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. So not bad. Not bad at all. Closer to 500, but still not great either. They left 6 guys on base. So then through 3 games, the Mets left a lot of runners on base already, and it does not get any easier whatsoever as they get into game 4. So I'm going to be giving you the mod now. So there you go, buddy. Again, thank you for the donation. Everyone get some hype in the chat. So yes, let's get on to game 4. What we streamed yesterday, we streamed every single game. Most of you guys were there, and I appreciate that, guys. So let's get into game 4 as I have my handy dandy notes right in front of me. Okay, so Mets win game 4, as we know, splitting the series with the Cardinals, which was absolutely huge. The Mets currently rank 2nd in the NL East. Not that it matters too much, but we're over a month in now, so we are going to start to look at the standings just a little bit more than maybe what we usually would. Nothing crazy, though. And I'm great, MH. How are you, my friend? John has a question. Again, I'll answer Rojas stuff. Trust me, we'll get to all that, I assure you. I promise you guys. So getting on to game 4, though, Pete Alonso. Not the best game, but definitely not the worst game. Helping out in this game 4 was 1 for 4 on the day, including 1 RBI and also had 1 walk. Dom Smith, basically the same thing, just without the walk. He 1 for 4 on the day, 1 RBI. James McCann, and James McCann is a guy that has been a hot topic. A lot of guys don't like James McCann, and a lot of guys do like James McCann. I am in the favor of I do like James McCann. And I really, really like what he brings to the table for the Mets. And he found himself going 2 for 4 on the day, including a 1 RBI and a 1 walk. So McCann, who has been struggling at the plate the past couple games, really the past, I would say, 10 days at least, he has finally got himself back into a little bit of a groove, which was positive to see. But then if you look at the total in this game, what was so baffling yesterday, as we were all following, guys, as you know, the Mets had 11 walks. 11 walks. Are you joking? It felt like every guy was getting at least 2 walks in this game. It was ridiculous. But the Mets get 11 walks in total. It was mind-blowing. And then when you get onto the pitching, and this is where things really stood out. If you guys followed yesterday, Tywin Walker had his best game as a New York Met yesterday in dominant fashion. Tywin Walker is known for giving up walks, no pun intended. Walker walks. That's just how it is. It's something that he has been known for in the past and has had somewhat of an issue to start the season. He had a 3-ERA going into this game, and he was nothing short of dominant. In 7 innings pitched, Walker threw only 1 hit, gave up 1 run, but it was an unearned run because Jonathan Villar had a throwing error earlier in the game, trying to turn a double play. His shortstop kicked in at third base with a sidearm throw that went beyond, I believe, Jeff McNeil there at second base, and then it went back in the field. So that ended up leading to a run, but that doesn't matter because Walker gave up no runs here, 8 strikeouts, was punching the zone, punching the inside of that strike zone too, and did not give up 1 walk. He got rid of 18 consecutive batters in a row, the best in his career and the best so far that we have seen from a pitcher, I believe, this season. Actually, no, I may be mistaken there because of Jacob deGrom, but regardless, it was phenomenal. And that was the best outing he's had as a New York Met, and probably one of, if not the best outing Tywin Walker has had in his career. So that's very promising for a guy that has upside. We know that. And the beauty about Tywin Walker is that there's still potential to grow there. He's a guy that does not have a lot of innings on his arm, mainly because of his Tommy John surgery that he has sustained over the past, 2.5 years. He was out for a while with injury, but he came back last year in 2020, looked really strong. Not too great with Seattle, but once he got dealt to the Blue Jays, he literally didn't give up a run in the short 60-game season. Then he comes to the Mets on a multi-year deal with some interesting options, and so far, so good. Tywin Walker very well could be the 5th starter for the Mets once Carlos Carrasco and Thor are back in this rotation. That's a good problem to have, because when you have Tywin Walker as your 5th starter, when he could easily be a 2 or 3 on many teams in the league, ooh, baby, does that feel good. But getting out of the Walker discussion, Trevor May, once again, the second time he pitched in this series, only 1 inning pitch, and he was a stud once more. Trevor May has been nothing short of phenomenal. And guys, if you don't know already, Trevor May will be coming out with a New York Mets vlog. Yes, he will be coming out with his own vlog, probably interviewing guys like Pete Alonso and some others on Monday. So if you haven't already noticed that, please make sure you have your notifications on. Make sure to subscribe to Trevor May here on YouTube. I'm really, really excited for what is going to happen. What happened to Thor? Tommy John. Yes, it was Tommy John, my friend. But let's get on to Edwin Diaz. A little bit of a heart attack there in the 9th, but ultimately it wasn't too much of one, as Diaz gave up a couple runners on base, but he was able to get out of the jam. The final out he saw was Nolan Arenado, and man, that was a big save for the Mets. So the Mets ultimately They swept this the last 2 games, I should say. They split the series here 2-2. And the biggest man of the hour, Francisco Lindor, who was on a 0 for 26 skid in this game, in his final at-bat, I believe, gets a hit. So finally, the monkey's taken off the back. That is Francisco Lindor. And I know we have a lot of people in the chat that are upset about Francisco Lindor. Look, again, I'm not going to beat this to a dead horse. People always people are constantly saying to me, Francisco Lindor is a bust. He's this, he's that. No, he's not. Stop it. There's a difference with being a bust and being a phenomenal player and you're in a slump. A lot of things are going into this, but Lindor is going to be fine. He finally hit, and his approach looked better, I will say, in that game 4. He had a fly out to really deep center right on the warning track. Looked like he leaned just a little too back on his swing. Otherwise, I think that could have been out there, which would have been a massive bomb. But he had 3 walks on the day, 2 outs, not just the fly out, but he also had 1 strikeout. He's been struggling with the off-speed stuff I've been seeing so far this season. But you cannot deny the fact that the guy is not getting on base, because he is. He got on base 4 times that game. And that's still good. So the average needs to get up. The hitting needs to start being consistent. But Francisco Lindor, in a nutshell, is going to be fine. See, we got Daniel Cohen speaking nonsense, saying he's a bust. No, stop it. He's going to be fine. Trust me. We're going to look down on this throughout the remainder of the season, and I'm almost certain that we are going to be just fine. I heard Buster say Mets will be in on KB. Where do you see that, Buster? Oh, okay. Buster Only, did you say that? Yeah, Buster Only, the same guy who basically said it was a guarantee that George Springer would come to the New York Mets. Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe that's something we can touch on in a video. We'll see. Where did you hear that, though, Luis? Did you see that on his Twitter? Let me know. But again, that's not a surprise if that's the case. But again, thank you so much for the donation, Luis. I appreciate that, my friend. And that should not be a surprise to anyone that the Mets are still showing interest in Chris Bryant, if that is in fact the case. Chris Bryant's had a really good start to the season for the Cubs. The Cubs are not going to do anything this season. They're not going to win the division. So will I be surprised if they sell away Bryant at the deadline? No, I won't. So keep an eye on Chris Bryant. We talked about him more often than not in the offseason, but yeah, that won't be surprising me. But again, Luis, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. I really appreciate that. But to really kind of wrap up what has been happening now, Matthew, what is up, my man? The only time I put oh, okay, there you go, Matthew. That's what I like to see. But in a nutshell, the Mets had themselves a fine series. It wasn't beautiful, but they bounced back strong. And they're going to hopefully have this momentum now going into the series that starts tonight against the Diamondbacks. And when you look at runners in scoring position, this is where things get really uncomfortable. The Mets had at least 2 guys or full bases loaded. It almost felt like every single inning in this game yesterday, they went 3 for 15. They left 17. Yes, 17 guys on base. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, not looking good from that side of things, but it is a positive that the Mets still won in the end. The Mets scored all their runs except for 1. They scored 3 of their 4 runs in the 4-1 victory by walks. They just kept walking guys in. G-O-O-D-E-Y-E, good eye, whatever it takes. But the Mets did that. I'm proud of them. I'm glad that they bounced back in the series down to nothing. They could have easily lost this series or even got swept with the lack of momentum that they had as a club. But it was proving to me that they very well have a spark. They have plenty. And when you look at this team on paper, they're definitely going to thrive this year. I assure you, it's just a matter of when are they going to fully click. Let's see here. So now let's get into, guys, the 3 stars of the series. That is what I want to break down and really share my thorough thoughts on, because these are 3 players in my mind that really stepped up. Your Diamond Dynasty team is filthy. That's awesome, buddy. But here, let's get into now. We're going to now get into the 3 stars of the series, okay? So this one should not really come as a surprise, but the 3 stars in my mind, let's start off with the 3rd star of this series, and that is going to be Pete Alonso. Big Me Pete is the 3rd star of the series, and you could argue that he could be 2 or 1. Perfectly fine. I just have him here at 3 because I do. Pete Alonso went 5 for 12 in this series. Only had 1 RBI, but had 4 walks. Alonso's been really good with his approach at the plate this season. It has impressed me immensely, seeing how well he has done. He had 1 terrible series so far this year, and that was in the 2-game set against the Red Sox. Other than that, this guy has been money. And again, guys, if you're just chiming in, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Help us get a 50 likes for the first short-term goal. Really does mean a lot, guys, for my 80 or so Mets fans chiming in right now. Is anyone, you look like Nito. Nito, interesting. Maybe I heard Nito once. Normally it's Conforto and Pollard I hear. But in a nutshell, Alonso was fantastic in this series. Was nothing crazy, but he did what he had to do and got the clutch hits at the end of the day. And that's what's important to me. So 5 for 12, awesome series. The 2nd star of this series, in my mind, is going to be Tywin Walker. And guys, also let me know who your 3 stars of the series are in the chat. I would love to hear it. So please let me know, guys. But the 2nd star of the series for me is going to be Tywin Walker, just because he had a phenomenal, it was his best outing as a New York Met, and arguably the best outing of his career. So to go 7 innings, 7 scoreless innings, he gave up no earned runs. Remember, you can't count the Jonathan VR error on him. Only gave up 1 hit, and that was to Nolan Arenado, who you can say he's the best player on the Cardinals. And you can also say that getting down 18 consecutive players is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. We witnessed, in a nutshell, history yesterday. And that is what was so exciting to me. It really was. And when you look at what is happening now with this team, not just now, but going forward, Tywin Walker is going to have a key to their success. He's going to be their fifth starter probably at some point, or maybe their fourth starter. Either way, when you have a guy in the back end of your rotation that is that good, when this rotation is healthy, boy, oh boy, is that exciting. It is so exciting. So hats off to my man Walker. He had a phenomenal game, and he is deserving of the second star. And now when we get on to the first star of the series, this should not come as a surprise to anyone at all. Before I even say it, guys, in the chat, let me know who you think the second star of this series is. And that's a beautiful line, Matthew. I love that. Again, I haven't played like any 2K right now. Not 2K. MLB The Show, but it's definitely a good lineup. So, guys, who do you think my first star of this series is? This should be a fairly easy pick. It should not take you guys long to figure this one out. But let me know. Let me know if you guys got it figured out. I see his name. His name is being mentioned. So, yeah. All right. I don't even, it's okay. I don't even really need to ask you guys. Yes, Lindor. It is Kevin. Yes, it is, Ben. It is Kevin Pollard. Kevin Pollard stepped up massive, and he has been stepping up massive really since the Nimmo injuries have occurred. And he was big. He had a home run in the final game in the series finale against the Phillies when we talked about in our last Mets talk with Richie. But this time, he steps up even bigger. He has a strong series. He goes for 6 for 15. And again, it's not amazing, but it is good. It's solid. That's what the Mets needed from Kevin Pollard. Had 4 RBIs, including a home run. He had back-to-back games with home runs this season. The series finale against the Phillies, and he was this close to making it 2 home runs in that Phillies game. And then also had a monstrous home run in the first game of the series against the Cardinals. So awesome stuff. Had 1 walk in the series. Kevin Pollard, Superman, baby. He has been massive clutch for this Mets team. He has been phenomenal. Him and VR have been really solid, but Pollard has really just stepped up for me, and I'm beyond impressed with what I'm seeing from Mr. Kevin. Nanoverse, bringing conspiracies. What did Nanoverse say? Let's see here. Nano going up in the chat. Oh, that is very trippy, Nanoverse. You are bringing conspiracies in here. I love that. But regardless, my 3 stars of the series in a nutshell are 1, you're going to have Kevin Pollard. 2, you're going to have Tywin Walker. And 3, Big Me Pete Alonso. And shout out to Michelle Alonso, Pete's mother, for following me on Twitter again. I really appreciate that. So shout out Michelle. Shout out Pete. Happy early Mother's Day to Michelle and all my other mothers out there. And Bobby with the awesome donation. Thank you so much, my man. Guys, hype in the chat for Bobby Douglas. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. Again, all that stuff goes right back in the channel. So I sincerely appreciate that, my man. Thank you kindly. And again, just thank you all so much, guys, for being here. And if you're watching this on replay, too, after the stream went live, thank you so much for being here as we were around 28 minutes into this live stream. So thank you, buddy. So, guys, now we're going to get on to the preview. And, Steven, what is up, my man? Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, great thoughts as always. Let's go and jump on the D-backs. Am I right? So let's talk about this Diamondbacks team. Let's talk about what I think the Mets are going to do against the Diamondbacks. So now as we get into the series preview here, Diamondback series, big one, big one. This is a series the Mets should jump on. This is a series like most series that we have seen for the Mets this season. They have all the potential in the world to win. Now, will they win this series or not is a different story, but let's take a look at, and what's up, Gems? Let's take a look at this series in a nutshell. So the Diamondbacks are 15-16 on the season, 1 game below 500. They've had some hot hitters. They have not had consistent pitching to an extent. It's been a little so-so. It's definitely been up and down. But if we take a look at game 1, that is tonight. And maybe you see this after the game already happened. Who knows? You have David Pearson, the southpaw, on the mound, who has a 4.81 ERA, is 1-3 on the season, facing off against Zach Gallen. Gallen is really the star of the rotation for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He is believed as a dark horse to even win the Cy Young this year by many people, many other baseball YouTubers out there. They speak highly and glowingly of Zach, and Zach Gallen's a good pitcher. So I'm not surprised that Zach Gallen is getting a lot of hype because rightfully, Gallen's a good pitcher. He's a very good pitcher. Dealt with some injuries from the spring because of actually swinging the bat, which is a joke. That's just another one of the million reasons why you need a DH in the NL. Ezra, what? Ezra, Cry Me River. Okay, So let's get into now what is going to happen. So tonight's matchup, the pitching is in favoritism, if that's a word, of the Arizona Diamondbacks. But the southpaw, David Pearson, we'll see how he does. I like his chances. Game 2, however, has yet to be determined from an actual pitching standpoint for both teams. But it looks like we very well would be seeing Joey Lucchesi. It's either going to be Joey Lucchesi or another spot starter for the Friday game. So that's a little suspect just because how is the bullpen game going to go? I'm not sure, but it looks like it's going to be possibly Joey Fuego once more should Jordan Yamamoto not be caught up again. And then that'll probably, I don't know who that's going to be from the Arizona Diamondbacks side of things, but I do know from the Mets side of things, Joey Lucchesi has been the rumored pitcher as of now, should there be no changes. It'll either be that or a bullpen game. But now let's get on to Game 3 on Sunday. This has been an interesting game because there was belief that Carlos Cookie Carrasco would be back and possibly pitching in that Sunday game. But instead, he was last minute put on the 60-day IL yesterday. He'll be back right around the end of May, beginning of June, probably around that time, retroactive. So it's not another 60 days he has to be on. It's sets from when he was first on the IL. So he will be back fairly soon, just probably, 2 or 3 weeks later than we expected. And when you get onto this game, though, as long as everything goes well, and what we saw yesterday is that it very well could be, it is going to, in fact, be, yes, Jacob deGrom, the GOAT, who missed his last outing and was supposed to pitch in the Cardinals series, had to be pushed back because he was dealing with some side, lat tightness. He did a little throwing session yesterday. Everything seemed good. So everything is in line and for them to make sure that deGrom is going to pitch Sunday as they get into the series. So when you look on paper, the Mets are the better team. We know this. Will they win this series? I hope they do. Will they sweep this series? I doubt it, but I really hope they do. If the Mets can win 2 out of 3 in the series, the Mets will then at that point be 2 games above 500. They very well could have the division lead at being first. So we'll see what happens here. But I want to make note of 3 individual hitters for the Arizona Diamondbacks that I want to make sure that you are paying attention to in this series that very well could ball out. Let's start off with the hottest hitter, which has been for the Diamondbacks and has really been the best catcher in baseball in the NL to start off the first month or so. That is Carson Kelly. Carson Kelly, the 26-year-old catcher, has been dominant for the Diamondbacks to start this year. He's batting an amazing .323 average. He has 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, and a 1.12 OPS. Are you joking me? Over an 1,000 OPS, over 1,100 and 120 to be exact. He has been balling out. What is up, Tremont? Again, what is up, guys? Thank you all so much for being here. And Ketel Marte is still out with injury, I believe, Matthew, so he's not a guy you will have to be watching. Marte has not played since the first week of April as of now. My memory is not mistaken. So Ketel Marte, I don't think the Mets are seeing unless he's back from the IL. If he is, then yes, that's a guy you definitely need to watch. I believe Marte is still injured. Correct. So unless I'm mistaken, I do believe he's still out with injury. So Eduardo Escobar is solid, but he is not the second guy that I'm focusing on in this series. It is going to be Blacklist Outdoors. What is up, my man? Thanks so much for chiming in. It is going to be, yes, Asdrubal Cabrera. Yes, I said it. Asdrubal Assman, as we love to call him. I loved Asdrubal during his time with the New York Mets, but he has had a number on the Mets since leaving the New York Mets, especially during his time with the Washington Nationals. So Asdrubal Cabrera is my second player that you guys should be watching in the series to make sure that hopefully he doesn't absolutely murder them, kind of in a similar manner like Daniel Murphy did during his time with the Nationals. Not to the same extent, but Asdrubal Cabrera has had some clutch at-bats, some clutch moments against the Mets. So I know he's old, but trust me, do not be surprised if he balls out in Citi Field. He thrived with the net. He absolutely thrived with the New York Mets, so do not surprise. So we'll see what happens. But Cabrera is he's batting 247 on the season, playing third base this year. He's up there a little bit in age. 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a 761, it looks like, OPS, right around there. So just sub of 800. He's had a good start to the season. But again, I was a big Asdrubal Cabrera fan. And just remember, Asdrubal very well could be clutch in this series for the Diamondbacks. So if there's any guy that I know can really dominate against the Mets and take advantage of not just the pitching, but the Citi Field aspect, it is 1,000% Asdrubal Cabrera. So he is my second hitter that I do not love for the Mets chances, but I hope that they can still get him done, and hopefully he doesn't have a big series. But getting on now to the last but not least hitter that I'm looking at for the Diamondbacks in the series. He currently leads them in batting average, and that is left fielder David Peralta. David Peralta is batting a strong 282 on the season, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs, and an 820 OPS. those are, in a nutshell, are my 3 players that we should be watching in this series from a hitting perspective. So from a pitching perspective, I don't really have too much to say because they're still to be determined. So that's really all I have to say about that. And when you look at now what is happening with this team, and pitching has not been fun. The Diamondbacks, when you look at their rotation, they've had a poor start to the year. They have one guy. They haven't been terrible, but not great either. They have Zach Gallen and one other pitcher as well who has a sub-3 ERA. He's been solid. The bullpen's been so-so. The D-backs have been the D-backs have been good and bad all at the same time. They've had a very so-so start to the season. But Zach Gallen is a stud. They have 2 pitchers in this rotation that I am keeping my biggest eye on. I don't know who else is going to be pitching for the Diamondbacks in this series, but Zach Gallen leads the way as he pitches tonight against David Peterson. So that being said, that is basically my preview on this series between the Diamondbacks and the Mets. I really do think that the Mets have a great chance to jump on this series and hopefully win this series, but we will see what happens for them. So before we go any further, guys, and before we kind of get closer to the end of this stream, as I'll be doing a live Q&A, I would like to announce the new winner of the actual giveaway on the channel for the amazing black New York Mets Tumbler, custom tumbler. Blacklist Outdoors was so gracious enough to send my way. So, Bobby, what is up, my man? Again, thank you so much for chiming in, guys. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe on if you haven't already, if you're watching it live or if you're watching this on replay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But, guys, we have a new winner to announce because it has been 48 hours, and I apologize. My apologies to Ban Santana, but there is a timetable on this. He did not respond in time. So we are going to get to our second winner. So, guys, without further ado, if we could get a drum roll, please, I'd really appreciate that. Or, you know what? Maybe we'll do one even better. Maybe we will just bring a drum roll into the stream. I think that's what we're going to do. So, guys, bear with me 1 second. I want to put a drum roll in the stream. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So that is what we're going to do real quick. So just bear with me, guys. I apologize if I lag or anything like that. Let's get a drum roll in this stream. I think that'd be fun. All right, guys, 1 second. I'm going to just share the audio here. All right, guys, drum roll, please, folks. So, the new winner. And do you guys hear the drum roll too? That's also what I want to know. Make sure to let me know, guys, if you hear the drum roll here in the stream. That's important. What's up, Wolf? What's going? We hear the drum roll. The suspense is real. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, so without further ado, the winner of the custom tumbler, New York Mets black custom tumbler that was originally won by Ban Santana. Unfortunately, he's going to have to forfeit because he did not reply within 48 hours. So I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sure you're going to see this after the fact. But the new winner of, yes, the custom black tumbler. And again, guys, make sure to check out Southern Shine Designs. I have the link to them in my video regarding the actual tumbler giveaway. You can check out their Facebook group. They do a lot of great custom work. The winner, the long-anticipated winner, is in fact, and I was so happy to see when he won this when I was doing my second raffle, because I did 2 raffles, just randomized a number, gave everyone an individual number. And guys, if you donated or are a member on the channel, you then get multiple entries. So when I did my second go around on this, the same night after Ban Santana still won, to make sure I had a backup, I was beyond satisfied to see who won this. And that winner is none other than the guy in the stream who has been in every single damn stream that I've seen as of late and comments. That is, yes, Ghostway. Congratulations, Ghostway. How fitting is it that you were the man to actually talk about this to begin with? And Ghostway is the winner. So my man, thank you so much for joining. Thank you all so much for the donations, for the constant support, everything. Ghostway, if you were in here, you are the winner Let's go. Massive dub to Ghostway. No one, trust me. A lot of people deserve it, but like Ghostway, my man, congratulations. I think you already follow me on Twitter. So why don't you just shoot me a DM on Twitter, something along those lines, or an email, and then we'll get this sent your way, buddy. Okay. So I'm going to rub this down because I know I've held this plenty. I'm going to make sure that they're on fingerprints and stuff so you can't clone me. But seriously, congratulations, buddy. You're always fantastic. You always donate. You're always so kind. So again, when I saw that, it did put a big smile on my face. It did. So again, you guys have been tremendous. I really appreciate that. And just shout out to you, buddy. Again, I cannot wait to get this thing sent your way. So just shoot me a DM on Twitter or just email me at drawt7@protonmail.com. Either way, and we will get this figured out and sent to you hopefully within the next week or so. So thank you again, buddy. I appreciate it. And again, thank you all so much to everyone that entered this giveaway. I know that it's one of those things where it's unfortunate if you entered and you don't win, and I'm sorry, but there will be more giveaways on the channel, especially once we get merchandise figured out. So just to know that, guys. Ahmad, actually, yeah, exactly. I'm very happy for Ghostway. That's all I can say. But again, I appreciate everyone that chimed in, and everyone had an equal chance. It just came down to you only had more entries if you donated or you're a member on the channel. In this case, Ghostway lucked out by his donation. So again, shout out to you, buddy. But with saying that, guys, we're now going to get to a live Q&A on the channel in this stream. D-Nice, what is up, my friend? Thank you all so much for being here. So guys, we're going to get to a live Q&A. Really, so a couple things I would like to make clear before we get into this live Q&A. We're going to be going for the next 15 minutes or so, okay? 15 tops 20. Probably will be out here by 2:30, 2:35. So please keep it fairly short with your questions or statements. The only reason why is we're probably going to have numerous people lined up that would like to talk. So please just keep it fairly short. Give a question or give a statement. And again, just thank you so much for doing this. So guys, I'm excited to talk to you. And with that being said, let's just get right into it. So Q&A time. I'm going to put now in the chat. I'm going to put it. I'm going to pin the comment as well. So that way you guys know exactly what you're trying to get into. So again, let's keep it relative to the Mets on either the previous series, what we just talked about with the Cardinals, or the series upcoming with the Diamondbacks, or if you have anything else that you want to talk, just Mets related, if you have a genuine question, maybe it's about Rojas or something, that's fine. Just let me know, okay? That's all I got to say. So let's get this in here now. All right, guys, stream link is now live. So all you have to do, again, is click that stream link, and we will start getting everyone in here, and then we will get a couple of you guys in for Q&As. I got no questions. It could be a question or a statement, Matthew. So again, whatever you want to do, buddy. But regardless, I appreciate everyone being here. This has been a fun stream. I figure this will be a perfect way. We already got Christopher in here. We got a couple guys. So again, I'll give around 2 to 3 minutes for everyone to start getting in for anyone that does, in fact, like to join. Jacket bought. I did not make this, Ben. It's collaboration with Levi's. Levi's did a collaboration with the MLB years ago. And that's when I got the denim jacket. So I already see we got a couple guys in here. Awesome. Again, if you're still trying to come in, make sure you do. I'm going to pin this now. So that way, if you are, in fact, just chiming in the stream, all you have to remember is just to make sure you click that link. So with that being said, folks, we're going to get into the first couple people. And I already see one. I already see some people I recognize. So first of all, we're going to get Christopher in here. Chris, what is up, my friend? How's it going, buddy? Thanks so much for coming in. What question or comment do you have?
Okay. So my statement is basically just it's just about Lindor, because I think he has to get going in this month, because if he doesn't this month, probably a lot of teams are gonna be a lot of teams are gonna know how they are and know how they look this month. But say Lindor's not getting going, not doing good, and then we're stuck with a slump Lindor, and we're probably a few games under 500 because of Lindor, the slump. So I think if Lindor gets his batting average up to 220, 230 this month, then I think we can go to the playoffs, because I feel like only Lindor has to get going, and then I think we'll be fine. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, no. I get that. So basically you're saying is you just want Lindor to get going. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with you, Chris. And again, I appreciate you chiming in, buddy. I hope you have a great day and have a great weekend too. I just realized literally a couple hours ago it was Friday. That's how crazy a week this has been. But again, buddy, I appreciate that. I do think Lindor is going to get going. Now, when is that going to happen? That's a big thing. It was a positive. I thought we saw some positives in this Cardinals series for sure. I thought that finally him getting that monkey off his back. It felt, you could tell he was saying in his presser, there was a sigh of relief. It felt like there was tension taken off of his shoulders. That's good. We hope it continues, but in a nutshell, Lindor is going to be just fine. So let's just hope that throughout this month of May that we finally start to see a gradual trend upwards on his production and what we can expect from him. So now we have our next caller in here, and that is going to be my man, Yoni. Yoni, what is up, buddy? How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Do you have any questions or comments regarding our New York Mets?
Not really. How often do you go to games?
How often do I go to games?
Yeah.
It varies, honestly, because I don't reside in New York. I live in Pennsylvania. So it's actually funny you say that because I was intending on streaming the entirety of the series for the Orioles next week, but I'll be just doing game 1 because I'm going to game 2 with Matt Harvey pitching on Wednesday. So I normally don't go to too many games a year, but this year's kind of different because of the whole YouTube platform and everything. So as long as I can go to at least once a month, I'm satisfied. So we'll see. This year will kind of make or break the amount of games that I usually go to. What about you? How many games do you usually go to?
I don't know. Not too many, whatever. Who do you think's MVP for the Mets this year?
Who do I think is MVP for the Mets this year? Oh, it's Jacob deGrom. It has to be. There's no one else that I would pick to be MVP for sure. But yeah, no. Other than that, that's all I really have to say on the matter. Again, I hope you have a great weekend, Yoni.
Thanks for getting me on.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you chiming in. That was cool. I appreciate that, Yoni. So now let's get into a couple more guys that we have here. And yeah, so again, if you guys, Julian, yep. Guys, if you don't know, if you will be attending Wednesday's game, the 12-10 game, when Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, returning to New York, he's scheduled. He better pitch Wednesday because that's the only reason why I'm going. Please make sure to try to meet up. We'll definitely try to meet up and meet some of you Mets fans. So now let's get to David. David, my friend, how are you today?
Hey, Tyler, I'm doing great. How's everything with you?
Everything's fine, buddy. How's it going? So, what questions or comments do you have for me this time?
Yeah, we had a solid series. You know, it was a little heartbreaking the first 2 games against the Cardinals, but the Mets were really impressive in the last 2 games, and they pulled it through. And you know, hoping that this weekend they'll come through and we could get at least a 2 out of 3. I think tonight's going to be it's going to be kind of tough because we have like you said, we're facing a really great pitcher. So it won't be surprising if it will be a low-scoring game tonight. But I have a couple questions.
Sure.
First one is kind of like a concern.
Okay.
Carrasco.
Okay.
So Carrasco, he was supposed to pitch Sunday, but now they moved it all the way up, minimum May 31st. Mm-hmm. Now, this is not the first time that the Mets have done this. In the past, they've said so-and-so player is going to come back from the IL at so-and-so date. But then we later find out that they get pushed back either a month later on, something like that. And I was reading that the other day. I was like, you know what? I was concerned about Carrasco because, I don't know. Do you think it's something precautionary or is it something that, that they notice and they're like, we better not push it? That's question number 1. Yep. Okay.
All right. So perfect. You have a 2-part question, I'm assuming. So the first one, I'll answer this. I don't think there's anything to worry about Cookie. Luckily, I was concerned yesterday. I was more disappointed. I said on Twitter just jokingly how I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed type thing because we thought we were going to possibly see him Sunday. No, now we're not going to see him for basically another month. But apparently, from reports that I've seen, are that Cookie kind of was asked when would be the best time for him to return, and I think he wanted more of a timetable. I think he just wanted to make sure he was 100% ready to go. And he hasn't even seen any live batters like in a minor league game yet. He's only been doing sim games. So I think it's good to give him a couple games in AAA under his belt or wherever you're going to have him, and then have him come up probably around the same time as Lugo and Thor. So to answer your question, there aren't concerns here. There are no setbacks. The only setback is the actual date, but there isn't a setback with his production and healing up. He looks fine. He's topping out 97 with the fastball, which is really good. So I'm not concerned about Cookie whatsoever. It's just going to be a longer timetable as to how long we're waiting for him than what we initially expected.
Oh, that's great then. I thought that he had a setback and they pushed it back and all that stuff. But yeah, no, that's good that they told me that. That's more comforting.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a Jed Lowry situation.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Man, this guy's having a great year. How about that, huh?
That's all on the Mets, though. And not to get on a tangent, but The Mets aren't threatening a defamation lawsuit with Carrasco like they did with Lowry. The only reason why Lowry didn't play throughout the 2 years he was here, and I'm not even mad at him for this, is because he needed knee surgery, and the Mets wouldn't allow it because of how much of schmucks they were with the insurance. So that's the only reason why he didn't play. It's because he needed surgery. He couldn't get it, so they made him battle through it and rehab, and he was never okay. Now he got his surgery. He's perfectly fine with the A's now, and I'll probably finish his career there. So,
wow. So that really falls on them then.
oh, it's absolutely on them. It's not on Jed one bit.
Awesome. Wow. And quick second question, Rojas. I mean, I don't know how hot his seat can be now. Now that he has really nowhere to hide, no more excuses. They fired Chili Davis. I think that my question to you is, if we continue to see the same results, say the Mets, they play 500 this month, do you believe that he will be a New York Met by next month?
If the Mets play 500 this month,
yeah,
I do
if they
think they'll be a New
continue.
York Met.
Okay, so it would have to be something like, that they're just playing really bad, like they're 5 under or 10 under, like something like that. Then
I think if they were like say they finished May 5 games under 500, yeah, I could see them doing that, because I thought that they would have had a longer leash, but firing Chili Davis and Tom Slater is pretty telling that this is like your warning. They're not going to have too long of leashes with guys that weren't their picks. Basically, those are Brody's and Wilpon's picks. So I know that Rojas has a little bit of a longer leash because he's younger. He's more innovative. He's more willing to listen. But what's saying that he's also inexperienced in the role too. So you can tell that inexperience definitely kicks in at times. And how much will the Mets bear that and be willing to take that to make sure that they still can salvage the season should it go awry? I'm not sure, but I will be surprised if the Mets were in a situation where they're 5 games under at the end of May. I would be really surprised if Rojas was still managing. As long as they had someone lined up in time, which is what they did with Chili and Slater, they would have had Chili and Slater fired a week and a half ago, but they had to make sure that people were aligned in place and that they had the right choices. So they're not going to do anything rash if they don't have the proper guy lined up. That's the main thing. If they have that with the Mets and Rojas and they get over Rojas sometime this year, don't be surprised if he's gone.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, David. You too, buddy. Appreciate the awesome questions as always. So, guys, I see we have right around 4 or 5 people still left in here. So now we're going to get on to Steven. Steven, what is up, my man? How's it going?
What's going on, bro?
I appreciate you chiming in, buddy. What questions or comments you got for me?
It's a pleasure to talk to you finally. Well, I cannot stand this guy Lucchesi anymore in the fifth.
Okay,
bro, man. I cannot wait for Carrasco to get back or something. But in the meantime, we should just stick Yamamoto in there because he impressed me. I said, yeah, well, he could definitely pitch because every time that Lucchesi comes out, it's like I gotta grab a Pepto-Bismol. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
this guy.
Yeah, so Joey's interesting. So again, shout out to Michelle Lucchesi. She follows me on Twitter too. His mom, really nice people. But Joey, I always felt was best for bullpen. You're probably, if you've been following the channel for a bit, I've kind of been saying that since we acquired him. I originally thought that maybe he would have the best chance at cracking the rotation, and which he did ultimately. But with all the injuries, that's the main thing. Like Lucchesi only has 2 pitches in his arsenal. He has this wacky windup, which in my mind would be so good coming out of the pen. If he had one more pitch in his arsenal, like a slider, I think that he's money. But he's too predictable. You have the heater at 90. Then you also are going to have the churve at, 79, 80. Like, it's fairly easy pitches to sit on. And normally for good starters in the MLB today, you got to at least have 3 pitches. And he doesn't. Unless you're a Jacob deGrom and you can handle literally just throwing that heater in your slider all day.
He's the big ace.
He's
so happy with that 15K. I was like, go 20.
Yeah, no, he's the GOAT. He's a different story. But my point is that unless you're that, I don't love Lucchesi in the rotation right now, but I think the Mets are just doing it for the time being because they know it's not going to be detrimental to them. If they were like, again were 5 to 10 games under, I would not be seeing Joey Lucchesi.
Well, I'm not pressing the panic button. I'm not, because I'm a diehard Mets fan. I mean, just like you, I eat, sleep, and breathe the Mets. But I mean, the people on the ledge, like, that's why you see me get upset. It's because people on the ledge, and I can't stand this former LOL Mets, people laughing at us and this and that. We're not that anymore. With obviously with a new owner, with a new, face. Like, it's time to stop being the old Met fans, OCD, whatever you want to call it, Met fan. I'm not one of those.
Yeah.
I cannot stand those. I'm not with those. I can't.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now, we're new. It's a new regime.
It's a new day.
Yeah, it's a new day. And with Lindor, that's my dude right there. I got his jersey on.
As you should.
He is going to hit. He is not going to, go down in the ground for all this year. And I don't understand why they booed him. I understand that fans have their rights to boo whatever they paid, but that is not the right way to do it, man. You're going to alienate this dude. Like, oh my God, what did I just do? Signed a whole contract and these fans are getting on me. That's what they did with Mike Piazza. And I was upset about that. I was going crazy when we got Piazza. I said, we got Piazza? What the fuck? Me and my dad, and he, shout out to my dad because my dad, he passed away in 2019 due to stage 4 cancer.
Oh, my condolences.
So I desperately want this Mets team to do good and go to the World Series and win it all. And it's, it may sound crazy to other people, but this is like my, hopefully I'm praying that they do it for not only just me, for every Met fan, but for him.
Absolutely.
He witnessed his first. He witnessed his first World Series win in '86 when I was 1 year old. Because I was 85. Could you imagine? I'm in my diapers and they went up. I said, so I really need this desperately.
Yeah, no, look, you're one of many, Steven, and again, condolences. I'm so sorry to hear that about your father. But again, all that he would want is for you to experience what he experienced when he was, a young man and get that World Series. We all want that. There's that's the beautiful thing about being a Mets and a baseball fan and just a sports fan. It brings people together. When you have a diehard fandom like this, I can tell you, live and breathe Mets fandom. That's the exact same thing with me. There's nothing better because it's a huge part of your life. So, and all you want is to just get that little bit of sweetness that is a championship under your belt. I do believe it'll come, but when it does, I'll be thinking of your father.
Yeah, thanks. And I don't like arguing with people because it's like, okay, look, the reason why I get so upset is because, look, I only root for one team. That's my New York Mets. I love baseball. I love watching other games, but there's only one fandom that you will pay attention to, and that's your own team. People say, oh, you can't think like that. Yes, you can. I don't grow up rooting for everybody. No, you root for one team. And I laugh at people when they root for every other team. So I'm like, which is it? Which are you a fan of? Because you got to pick one. Like, you can't be a fan of both. Like, in 30 teams, it's ridiculous. But when I see them acting that way and they start, and especially people are not fans or they claim they're fans and they start getting on the Mets and they start, throwing shades. I'm like, yo, what are you getting on them for? They actually trying to turn the page and be like, a legit team that we can root for. And, they're trying to win a World Series. This is not an easy game. Baseball is not easy. Not. You can, and you getting on Lindor and everybody else. Try hitting a 100-mile, 98 mile per hour, 70 or 80 miles per hour. You can't do it. And, for you to get up, I would like for you to get up there and you try. Let's see who's talking.
Yeah. And look,
because I'm a former baseball player.
Oh, okay.
I hit, you know what I'm saying? I've played. So I can talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to talk to walk. But if you don't play and you just over there going talking your nonsense, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, it is great. And look, that's the downside of being a Mets and New York fan. We're very passionate. When the Mets are on their highs, we're jumping for joy. It's World Series every day feeling. When they're not, one more thing, we're down below.
Yeah. I have one more thing to say before,
sure.
What did you think about the whole Yankees and Astros?
Oh, okay. So I didn't watch every game religiously because I was covering the Mets, but I was watching plenty of the game yesterday and the day before. I'm not surprised. Look, it's a double-edged sword for me because I dislike both teams heavily. I was a big Astros advocate until the Chine scandal came out. It crushed me when it came out because the Astros, they looked like this young, promising team. I was excited about Jose Altuve. I absolutely love the guy.
Too, but I did not agree with. Okay, I agree with the booing, but I did not agree with how they said "F you" on your birthday, on his birthday.
It was bittersweet because he got the home run in the end.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, he got the home run, and he just he left it like a mic drop.
No, he left the mic drop on the Yanks. And look, Yankees fans are so passionate. Look, I'm not surprised by their actions at all.
And
but in a nutshell,
Greinke,
Altuve got what they were asking for with Altuve's home run yesterday. So spade's a spade.
Yeah, that is true. But they're killing Greinke and some of the Astros that have nothing to do with it. So
No, of course not. But look,
Yeah.
These are Yankees fans. Let's
But
not
I do love the
let's not
trash
connect them with
cans
us.
with the Angels fans and now the Yankees. Oscar the Grouch. I just thought I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, I know. Me too. But again, buddy, I appreciate you chiming in.
Yeah, I appreciate it too.
I
Man.
always appreciate talking to you in this stream.
Always.
So I look forward to talking to you again
Yeah,
too.
and
Okay?
you almost had me going on the Tumbler, man. I almost thought that. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh, all right.
Well, I'm sorry. I know.
Okay.
Again, you were
But at least
close.
I'll buy
A
it,
lot of
though.
you guys were close.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys were really
Is
close.
it in the link though to buy it?
What's that?
Is it in the link to store to like?
Oh, if you go on the video that I have, you can check out their Facebook group. So that way you can get, they do a lot of different custom work. Like I'm not even exaggerating because they've sent me free stuff. They do really good jobs.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook or social media, but they don't have a store link or anything like that.
I believe that they just have a Facebook group right now.
All right, no problem.
All right. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
Let's
Have
go,
a
Mets.
great
Let's
weekend,
go.
my man. So again, thank you all so much to everyone chiming in. We got a lot of people still lined up, more than I expected. So we're going to keep going until everyone's done. At this point, I'm going to probably cut off the link, guys. So I see we have 1, 2, 3 people here. So Hope, what's up?
Oh,
Hello?
nothing much.
Do you have any questions or comments?
Like, do you think we should play Nito every day because of how McCann doesn't really hit as much?
Do I think that we should play Nito every day?
Yeah, because McCann's away. Nito's kind of a little bit better hitter than McCann.
I think that they should kind of split things given the contract. I think that McCann should get 60 to Nito's 40 because McCann has really been, he's never had a big workload in his career right now. So that I think is going to be the best thing. Nito has looked good at the plate, but I personally think that if you have McCann going 60% of the games and 40, that could be a good gel of things. I don't think that you should have McCann going 80 and Nito going 20, but I don't think that Nito is deserving of being the starter though either. I think that they should kind of just play it by year, but McCann's on that big contract. So you need to definitely direct to him because he is the better overall catcher. I personally agree on.
Yeah, who's supposed to start tomorrow and Sunday for us? Is Lucchesi
tomorrow?
supposed to
It looks
tomorrow?
like tomorrow. I think it's going to be Lucchesi as of right now, and then on Sunday it looks like it's going to probably be DeGrom as long as he's ready.
Yeah, because it still says TBD for both.
Okay, yeah. I know it says TBD. I think it's mainly because of DeGrom, but
Yeah,
same
and
thing
it
with
also
Arizona
says
though.
TBD for the Diamondbacks starters too.
Yeah. So they'll probably get announced later this evening. So until then, we don't know for certain. But my guess is that it's going to probably be Lucchesi on Friday, Saturday, and then DeGrom on Sunday for the Mets side of things.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Well, thank you, Hope. I appreciate that. Have a great weekend. Okay.
You too, and go Mets.
Go Mets. Thank you. All right. Awesome. Again, I appreciate everyone that's been chiming in. We have a couple more people lined up here. So now let's get into my man. What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Good.
Good. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Who do you think is better and why, McCann or Neto? Who will you start for the rest of the season?
McCann or Nito? Who would I start for the rest of the season? Well, I think that's kind of simple. I would still do McCann. I mean, I have a slight bias because I've always kind of been a James McCann fan. So that is really what goes into that. But between the two, that basically just answered what I said from the previous thing. I would do 60% of the time McCann, 40% of the time Nito. Not giving too much more to McCann than Nito, but giving a decent amount because he's on the contract for a reason. I think that he's a really good player. So I'm definitely favoring McCann still, but Nito's impressing. Nito is definitely impressing. That's for sure.
Also, another question. Around what time do you think Noah Syndergaard is going to be back?
I think Noah is probably going to be back in June because he's on the 60-day IL. The soonest that he can actually be here is in June. So that is my guess of when he will actually be back.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you, and keep up the grind. I love your channel, man.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Have a great weekend. Let's go Mets, baby. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, guys. So we have a couple more people I see here. So let's get now to okay, here we go. So Matthew, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, yo, what's up, bro?
What's up? What questions or comments you got for me?
First of all, everything sound good, right? Like you can hear me.
Yeah. No, I hear you perfectly.
Okay. I just want to make sure on that. I just wanted to comment on Lindor real quick. Also, I want to say it's cool talking to you for the first time. It's definitely
I love every second of doing this with you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, my comment about Lindor, I think people should relax a little bit on him. I get $341 million is a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you have this guy, and he's trying to get used to playing in a new place. He's played in Cleveland his whole career. It's a completely different place to play than New York. He said, I think they said it on an SNY broadcast a day or two ago. They were like, Lindor had said that Cleveland, when he would go in, it was home. You know, he could tell he was at home. And when he goes to Citi Field, he says it feels like it's going to be his home for the next 10, 11 years. But it's not his home yet. He doesn't feel like he's walking into home yet.
Correct.
And I think people don't understand that aspect of it. I think people don't understand the immense pressure that comes from playing in New York and all this hype. You're one of the biggest transactions of the offseason. Yeah, I mean, it's things like that. People don't consider, and the booing, I hate it. You don't. The booing is so stupid.
I agree.
I think, you know, at the end of the day, people need to grow up. People go through slumps. Doesn't matter if you're the best or the worst. You're going to go through slumps. He's in the majors for a reason. You're sitting on your couch for a reason. I mean, it's that simple. You know, people like to pull up his 2019 season and say he slumped. If I recall, he hit over 280 and over 30 home runs still. I mean, if that's a slump as a shortstop, I certainly take that. So,
exactly. You're trust me, you're preaching to the choir here. These are all the exact kind of points that I usually am saying myself.
Yeah, I just don't understand. People say he slumped in 19 and 20, and then I sit here, I have his stats pulled up.
They say September 2019. They literally point out the last month of the season.
What does 1 month matter when somebody has predicted? Look, I got his stats, bro. Look, a 284 batting average, 32 home runs, 74 RBIs, 22 stolen bases, only 5 caught stealing, 46 walks. That's bad.
Yeah.
OPS plus of 117. Okay. I mean, if that's bad, sign me up for a bunch of bad players.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's one of those things where, look, you're going to kind of have your casual, maybe a little irrational fans, and we all get that. We get emotional. I get it. And don't get me wrong, I get it when you're at the games too. It can be a lot more frustrating if, say, you're the guy that you're hoping that's going to perform. Like, I've been in 5 Mets games already this year, and Lindor hasn't balled out in either of them. But, like, am I booing him? Hell no. Of course not.
Yeah. And see, I went to my grandparents' house, right? You know about this. And my grandfather was bashing Lindor because he's like one of the only people in my family that'll like sit and watch games.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's been Mets fan long as, who knows, probably his whole life. So, you know, it's odd to see the different generations joining in the hate on him. You know, like I hate SNY when they would show like home games and you'd see 12-year-old kids yelling at him. You know, that bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. No, it bothers me too. But again, do not put much stock into these things. Okay, like everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna
he's perfect. I would put money that he will have one of the best stat lines on the team this year.
Okay, and that's a perfectly fair bet to have, honestly. I know that he's had such a massive slump, but look, he's going to get out of it at some point. So it's, again, more than anything, it's just about being patient. But Matthew, I of course appreciate you. It was great to actually talk to you.
I'm done. I'm done.
Do you have any other comments that you'd like to make before I get you out of here?
Nah, I want to say, you know, condolences to that guy.
Oh yes, Steven's father. Yeah, no,
and this fan base that you've built is pretty awesome. Very diverse. So, shout out to you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Have a great weekend, my man. Let's go Mets always. Okay, guys, we have a couple more people in here. If you haven't already, though, please make sure you smash that like and subscribe on. As always, it really, really does mean a lot, guys. And outside of that, just all I have to really say, guys, is just thank you for being here. This has been a lot of fun. I know that we had the one mishap, but trust me, it's not even going to be a problem. Luckily, YouTube's a beautiful thing. You can just cut out a little strip of a stream or a video if something goes awry. So it literally doesn't change anything. It's perfectly fine. So we're going to get out in now with Bobby. Bobby Douglas, what's up, buddy? How's it going?
What's up? Wardy, what's up, man?
What's up, buddy? What comments you got for me?
So I have a question. I've been watching baseball a long time, so I know like when we're going to try to make a push for the playoffs, NLCS, hopefully, World Series, hopefully, we need to improve our defense, especially at premier positions, right? Like, I cringe when JD plays third. Nimmo, love his bat, right? But, I cringe when he's at center field too. So who do you think is like a reasonable target, whether it be trade deadline or post-trade deadline where a lot of like free agents are, DFAs, that we can target to solidify some defense for September, October?
So are you talking about just from any position?
I guess for the Mets' sake, preferably third base, center, or maybe one of the outfield spots where maybe Dom's at.
Okay. Realistic. I know that it's kind of funny considering we always talk about him, but I do think Chris Bryant is realistic. I don't think he's all that outlandish. I really don't. I also think that when you're looking at the other players available outfield-wise, there aren't too many guys that stand out to me that I could find the Mets really going after just because they kind of already did that with Almora and Pollard. You'd have to have injuries occur for them to really go after anyone else in the outfield. So I'm also going to say I doubt that they will add anything in the outfield. Maybe they do some depth if Malk Smith, of course, from AAA, he's still out with injury if nothing happens with him. And Khalil Lee, say he comes and plays a game sometime soon and he's really underperforming because he didn't have a good spring. I don't know if that's going to translate or not. But again, I don't really know. I will say though that Chris Bryant looks ideal, and outside of that, third base wise, I think Eugenio Suarez can make a lot of sense because the Reds aren't going to go anywhere this season. He very well could be the most realistic of them all, coming from the NL Central. So he's kind of my guy. I think when you're talking realistic wise, he's the most realistic to me, and he's on a favorable contract as long as the Mets are willing to do a deal.
Gotcha, man. Well, thanks so much for the time, man. Love the page. Let's go Mets. Let's
go Mets. I appreciate that, Bobby. Thank you. Wait, Matthew, was that you the one that was talking, Matthew Schiraldi? I didn't even know that. Oh, Matt, I would have approached you completely different. I'm joking, but I didn't even realize that was you, Matthew. That's funny. But yeah, Matt, you got to put on your camera next time if that was you, because I literally did not know that was you, my man. But either way, guys, we only have time for one more, so I know there are a couple more people lined up. I apologize, guys, just because of time restraints. So we're gonna go with one more person today, and then next time that we do Mets Talk, which should be on, I believe, Monday, we'll be taking callers again. So right around probably. I think it's an off day, so maybe we'll do this later in the day as well on Monday. We'll find out, but we're doing one more caller today, so I apologize. I know there's some more people in here, but Mcneil, you're going to be the last one for today, buddy. How's it going?
What's up, Nick?
And more stupid stuff. There you go. Okay, so you know what? Because of that's fine. We'll do one more person as well, as long as they're fine. Daniel, how's it going, my man?
How's it going, man? I was asking you about Chris Bryant again. What would you trade for them?
Oh, okay. Great question. So what would I trade for Chris Bryant? I talked about this so much in the offseason, so it's kind of hard to say right now, but I do think that Chris Bryant, you're going to have to cough up if it's just him because he's a rental. I honestly think that you're probably going to have to give up. I feel like honestly a rotation piece wouldn't surprise me because you're going to have Carlos Carrasco and Thor. I know that it may feel outlandish, but like if the Mets somehow are able to get Bryant and someone else, I don't know. I feel like David Pearson would make a lot of sense for them as long as it's not just Bryant, because I don't think that Pearson is enough to give up for Bryant because Bryant's a rental. I do think though overall that if it's just Bryant, it's hard. It's really hard to grasp because you want to acquire him with the assumption that you can sign him long term. But maybe the Mets do a situation very similar like the Dodgers, where they get a Machado and then they don't re-sign him at the end of the year. So then what do you cough up for him, right? Like what is the exact type of thing that would make sense? Because you'd have to think at least it would be JD Davis going back if it's just going to be Bryant. I think you'd have to think JD Davis and maybe a B-level prospect, maybe one other. If Bryant is having a borderline MVP year this year, it's going to be tough. So my counter to you, because you're going to be the last guy in here, what do you think would make actual sense for the Mets and Bryant? What do you honestly think?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if what you guys would get for our guy, because I'm a Cubs fan. Use my head.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I remember you. Yes, you are the Cubs fan. Yeah, it's tough because if Bryant has kind of like a star pace this year, maybe he's like all-star, right? As you reach the deadline, but the Cubs are probably not going to win the division this year. I'm sorry if that upsets you, but
they swept the Dodgers though. They swept the Dodgers really bad.
they swept the Dodgers and the Mets, but you guys are 9-16 with other teams.
I know.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Once they get better, I'm hoping they would get better. I would like to play you guys in the playoffs again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. But in this scenario where the Cubs do not make it this year and they're going to be selling off for at least Bryant, I do think that it's really going to be coming down to the season Bryant's having and the willingness the Mets have, because they were very adamant in the offseason, the Cubs were, about acquiring one of the Mets' top prospects, Francisco Alvarez being the most notable, their catching prospect. And he's basically their number one prospect outside Matthew Allen, their pitching prospect. So if that is the price that stays that way, I doubt the Mets will jump on it. Otherwise, I do think the Mets will kind of be in a scenario where they wouldn't mind coughing up a decent bit, as long as they kind of know that, one, Bryant will help them really push for a World Series this year, and two, they can extend him. Other than that, I'm really not sure. It's really something that's going to change fluently throughout the season, depending on what the Mets need, how J.D. Davis performs from the third base side of things defensively, and from the Cubs side of things, how they perform as a team.
Okay, cool, man. All right, thanks.
Awesome, Daniel. I appreciate you. Have a good one. So that's going to conclude it, guys. That's it. I know that we had a couple trolls today, but again, I kind of expect those. It's not an issue. But that's going to do it today. So again, thank you all so much to everyone that chimed in. I really appreciate it. We'll be doing callers again on Monday. So Matthew, and yes, you did sound as I expected. Matthew, I just didn't realize that was you, Matt. I honestly didn't. So I find that funny. Next time you got to actually show your face so I know it's you. But again, I appreciate all you Mets and baseball fans chiming in. This was a lot of fun. If you haven't already, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. It really does mean a lot, guys, too. And just thank you all so much for being here. This is great. So that's going to conclude this stream of New York Mets Talk. Monday, Richie should hopefully be back on the channel. If he's not, I'm going to beat him up. I'm joking, of course. And we will break down the series of the Diamondbacks and hopefully a positive one, and then a recap of the series against the Orioles, which I will be attending on Wednesday. So guys, if you are in fact going to the game on Wednesday for the Mets and the Orioles with Matthew Harvey on the mound, the Dark Knight's first return against the Mets in Citi Field, no less, please make sure to let me know. I'll be posting probably earlier on that day on Twitter on the community tab. So if you guys want to meet up or do anything like that, I will gladly will. So Dominic, have a great day, buddy. Thank you all so much. Ghostway, should I send the address to your email? Yeah, you can gladly do that, Ghostway. That's perfectly fine, buddy. And then we'll go from there. So perfectly fine with me. So again, have a great day, guys. And Bryant can play. Bryant playing center today. Yeah, Bryant can play the outfield. Another thing that's definitely appealing to him. So thank you, guys. Have a great day. I had so much fun talking to all you. And let's go Mets.